Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another exciting Friday at noon live on YouTube and Facebook. Women's Health Weekly, brought to you from the women's health medical experts at Maiden Lane Medical here in New York City. It is our goal to bring you expert information that directly affects your health, your life, your happiness. We also produce a weekly podcast, which is basically the audio of this telecast. We love having people listen to that. It is available all the time. So with that, I bring you our main event, which is that I have asked Cindy Salas-Murphy from San Diego, California. Cindy is the CEO and co-founder of WithHealth Incorporated. So I work for Cindy's company, and it's been a very exciting journey for me. And having come to know Cindy a little bit, I thought that she was the perfect person to bring in this topic. So Cindy is, as I said, not only has a graduate degree, a master's in public health, but also is the CEO and co-founder of WithHealth Incorporated. So I'm going to let Cindy tell her story, which I am sure everybody who's listening will be very interested in.
It's such a pleasure for me to be here, and thank you, Ken, for inviting me to participate. Ken is not working for me, but he works with me. He is our chief medical officer at WithHealth, and I'm just so proud to have him as one of my partners in crime, truly.
Thank you.
We have a lot of fun, and we really are disrupting healthcare. We're making healthcare better. WithHealth is all about making healthcare affordable and accessible for everybody. So about me, I am a mother of 4, 2 of my own and 2 stepchildren, and I am incredibly blessed. I live a life that is incredibly busy and fruitful. I'm a very spiritual person. I find that taking care of my mind, through education and learning, taking care of my body through healthy eating and exercise, and taking care of my spirit through prayer and meditation has really led me to have a balanced life and to make decisions for myself that are really what brings success to my life. I was a single mom at the time, and I have phenomenal parents and phenomenal support systems that really came up and were a tremendous support in my life. And I guess that really is the story behind the story, Ken, is that for us as individuals, it's never just about us. It's always about the people that are around us, the people that support us. And so I feel that creating a life where I build my friendships, where I sustain long-lasting friendships and care for my family, and so that I can be a support to them and they could be a support to me. It just works out that way.
So Cindy, you didn't like graduate with your MPH and suddenly become someone who's in a position to start a major national telemedicine corporation. That didn't happen overnight. So
No.
Tell me where you started, and what were some of the challenges in developing the leadership acumen and leadership roles that you were able to develop?
Quite honestly, my journey started when I was about 8 years old. My dad suffered from quite a severe injury, and my mom was disabled. And to be honest, I felt like I had lost my playmate. I felt like when my dad got sick, he was in the hospital for 30 days. I mean, it was tremendous to see what my mom did to really help us through this process. And I still remember being at that hospital, and I said, I want to do something that helps people not have to go through this. I still remember that day, clear as day. And I knew that I needed that in my life. I knew that that's what I was destined to do. And so as I grew up, I took an affinity. I love science. I love math. I find it just so much fun. There's so much greatness in the exploration of it, in the exploration of science. So I became a scientist and really focused on microbiology and made that my field of choice. And quite honestly, I loved writing. I loved presenting. I was doing research on HIV and oral candidiasis, which back then it was still very new. We didn't know could transmit AIDS through kissing. So I really was very privileged that I could do research in that field and learn more about it and support patients through that journey. And I would love to write. I love doing the research. I hated going to the lab and running Western blots at 4 a.m. In that time, I really felt like I needed to do something. And I had a phenomenal mentor, and she said to me, go run a hospital somewhere, be with people and make a difference that way. You don't have to be in the lab, and you can still use these skills and go run a hospital. So I did, and I made that pivot, and I pursued my master in public health. And the reason why I chose public health instead of business is that I felt that the way that we could make the biggest impact is not by addressing individuals through a business, but more about creating a solution for our community. Because if we look at illness by symptom, we're never going to get to the real answer. The only way we'll get to the real answer is we look at what is encompassing in the illness, not just that one symptom. And so I felt like going the public health route was giving me that opportunity to do it. And it was so much fun. And Ken, you have an MPH, so you remember, that.
It was an amazing time of discovery for me personally about the world and the world of healthcare in pursuing a master's in public health. And sidetrack, I would always encourage people, if they're going to choose a graduate degree anywhere in healthcare, that an MPH is a really excellent choice. So you didn't just walk into a hospital and become like senior leadership in a hospital. There were challenges along the way.
Oh yeah. So I'll tell you, it's hilarious. My very first project was to actually improve access in a medical group setting. And I still remember working through that and asking physicians to work more, to see more patients in the same amount of time. And as you can imagine, it was tremendously exciting. And but you know what I really learned? I learned of the power of data. I learned of the power of the heart of the clinician, and that truly at the heart of the clinician, what they want to do is do the right thing. So it was a beautiful lesson to learn then. And very quickly thereafter, I took on, although it had lots of bumps and bruises, but then took on a phenomenal project of creating new payment models for physicians. And I'll tell you, it was probably one of the highlights of my career, because this was in the late 90s, and creating a payment modeling system, Ken, that is actually being implemented today.
Yeah, that was the core. That was a lot of what happened in the 90s was a lot of the core of the way, reimbursement works today. It's incredibly interesting.
Yes, and I'll tell you, I still remember being in the basement library with the associate medical director, and she and I were going through this, and she said, I don't know if you're going to live another day.
So you were working under an associate medical director who, just if you're listening and you know that an associate medical director is one of the most senior positions in any hospital. So it would go like associate or senior medical director or chief medical officer would kind of be the rank there. So there was a woman you worked with who I presume was a physician, because she was an associate medical director. And do you feel like she it sounds like she mentored, if anything, but do you feel like she paved the way for you? Do you feel like she paved the road for you?
You know what, Ken? Absolutely. I feel like she put me through a process that I think only someone that really sees the potential in you would do that. It was truly asking me the tough questions, making sure that whatever I presented was with conviction, because we were changing the way physicians got paid. This wasn't just let's create a happy moment for everyone, or let's create smile therapy in the office. It was really a multi-specialty medical group, more than 450 physicians, and it was about changing the way they get paid.